Welcome to this episode of Scale is Needed, folks. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy, boring work days to join us.
Busy and boring.
For a very not safe for work. God, that was another week we forgot to tag this live broadcast as not safe for work.
Hey guys,
probably have done that.
There's going to be a lot of swears,
A
lot of blue language on the podcast this week and every week.
Curse words.
Blue as in very sad language, guys.
Blue as in balls.
Blue as in...
Abada.
God damn it, Daniel. That was my fuck...
Blues as in clues. I don't get that.
I don't even...
Don't
Now,
worry.
Listen up.
We'll figure
Here's
it out.
a story.
I don't...
About-
No.
No. All done.
No more. Before we start, happy
Yes.
birthday to the Panchik twins.
Happy birthday to the Panchik twins.
Oh,
and
really? So
Marissa Klingseis.
Nice.
so were all
weightlifter.
three Panchik bros of the thing? It was just no.
Just twins. Just the twins' birthday today.
Oh, you
no.
did
I mean the two at
regionals.
the regional.
Oh, yeah, all three of them were at regionals.
Okay. How did the other ones do?
One of them competed as an individual. One of them competed on the mentality team.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And the one that competed as an
One is
individual...
named Saxon, so I assume the other is named Anglo.
Yes. Saxo, Anglo, Panchik.
Yes. The other
Uh,
one's name is Norman.
no, the what? I mean, you know what? Don't even.
You all got it.
And then, yes, I think his brother, Scott's brother, placed like in the top 15. I want to say, handsome guy,
Saxon or Spencer?
the one that competed individually at regionals. This is really boring.
Hitting the ground
I'll
running.
look it up.
You'll look it up.
This
Thanks,
week
Chase.
on Scale is Needed.
Anyway,
Well, it was a big weekend full of regional action, and we're going to
But
give you the
let's-
highlights, starting with...
starting with, we don't know which brother did what and where they placed. So, we're really very well prepared for this. Anyway.
Fitness.
Sorry, I was in the middle of doing something else. I'm trying to banner this to the site, damn it.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
appreciate your hard work,
Was he
Chase.
doing his
Excuses.
actual
Appreciate it.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was a film.
No, we're not doing that. We decided against. We decided against that. We need you to not do Raiders of the
Fade
Lost
in
Ark.
the Paramount logo.
You need to do Crystal Skull.
The logo, the Paramount disappears.
Yes.
The mountain dissolves
What?
to a different mountain.
No,
It does. Actually, kind of the same mountain.
Couldn't find the
You
same
can really,
mountain?
it's this basically the same thing. Anyway,
Well, you see
More
one
on this
mountain,
later.
You've seen
Mountains are
all the
mountains,
mountains,
I
right?
recapped the first 60 seconds of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tune in next week for the second 60 seconds of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
In fact, I'm
So-
going to say don't tune in at all next week.
That's probably
Update.
best.
Update.
Our boy Saxon took 7th at the
Seventh.
Central
Seventh.
Regional.
So
Not
he was
only
so
did we
close.
not know, but dude, that is really high up for
He
Central.
was 2 spots away from qualifying for the CrossFit
Yeah,
Games.
And
he
we're
beat
just
your
finding
boy-
out about
he
it
beat your
now.
boy
Right
George
now.
Sterner, by the way, Cliff.
He beat George Sterner.
Oh,
Whooped up on that.
Wow.
Was that was your pick?
That was my pick.
That was very
That was my
censored,
hope.
Daniel.
Where did George Sterner come out there?
He finished up at 9th, right
Yeah.
above.
That's fine. He'll get there eventually.
Right above.
Like I said, he'll
Graham
win. He'll win
Holmberg,
the games in
who's actually
2021.
dead.
That's my prediction.
So,
Yeah, so that's a way better finish than I thought it was.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Good for him.
we
Good
should
for
pay
him.
more attention.
Good genetics.
You know who
Really
also
a
has
lot.
good genetics? Alex Smith.
He sure does.
Because he qualified for the CrossFit Games this
Yes.
year as a rookie.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes. So really, what we're figuring out here is that the CrossFit Games is just sort of like this eugenic proving ground,
Exactly.
whereby superior genetics win out every
I mean,
time.
I think the best outcome of the CrossFit Games is to artificially inseminate, or at least form a embryo from the winner, male and female, of the CrossFit Games every
Yes,
year.
every year.
Have every year have a new baby
Yes.
that is genetically
So
perfect.
we've formed some kind of master race of fitness people.
Who gets who?
Sort of.
How do you select who carries the like
Well,
the?
no, no.
A lottery like the Hunger Games, where
I volunteer.
it's funny. I was thinking about this. I'm stealing this from I think Doug Stanhope did a bit about why watch. He was talking about Olympic swimming. He's like, it's all. He says Michael Phelps has like super long arms and short legs. He is like, he's built to be the best swimmer. So is there really any suspense in him winning the swimming competition? He said it's like watching a competition to see who's taller. He's like, nope, this guy almost got it at 6'1", but no, I'm sorry, he was edged out by the guy who's 6'2". Oh shit. And to a degree, that element is present, obviously, in CrossFit.
Except it's the exact opposite of height.
Yes.
It's shortness.
It's shortness. That's why midgets excel so much.
Did you see in the Meridian Regional, Lucas Hogberg, who did not qualify, he was sixth place.
That was dramatic.
That was very dramatic. But he posted about how he wished he had a shrinking machine because regionals was programmed for, quote, midgets.
Yes.
I was like, man, I love Europe so much.
Yeah.
Just not a fuck given by Lucas Hogberg.
No one gives a shit.
Also,
their list of banned words is different than ours at the moment. They've yet to catch up.
That is true.
But I found it very, very interesting that, CrossFit is in some way a provocateur, right? With their social media. They like to share things that causes.
They like to lean into things that
and yet
stir up
they did not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like that one thing, they're like, you know what, this crosses the line. We cannot have this on our social media.
No, that's something though that's so fun about, and that's I guess missing, and maybe it's still going on. I don't know, because I don't frequent CrossFit.com in the way I did in those early days, but so much of it was about this dialogue between CrossFit HQ and like the population, like the fan base that was growing around it. It was like the fan base of a popular blog or something like that. It was essentially what it was at the time. So like they would do something and fans would react, or like the CrossFit community, which was very small at the time, would react in some big way. And so often, rather than kind of tucking their tail and running away from this little upheaval or that little upheaval, it was funny to just, and that's part of what endeared me to them so much, was how they would lean into those things. Like famously when they posted like the photo, like one of the days, this photo, we may have talked about this before, of like the woman doing pull-ups, but she was like bare-chested, but it was from the back, so you couldn't see her breasts, and like all these people were like, this is supposed to be a family-friendly site, yada yada yada. And so it began this war of escalation where they just kept posting more nude photos of increasing levels of nudity. I
believe the word you're looking for is nudity.
No. Nudity is to be nude. Nudity is the degree of nudeness. You see, one has a quantitative aspect, whereas one only has is very binary. It's very binary. You see, I can just fucking spin. I can move my way out of anything, Armin. Don't you ever challenge me. Don't you ever challenge me. I will duck and roll. I just juked the shit out of her.
That was a full-on dream shake right there.
So anyway, but what was hilarious is then that just kept going on and going on. It was just, I loved watching. I would just go to the website every day just to watch all of the more puritanical elements of the CrossFit community sort of lose their shit every day over the thing and saying, like, I'm never coming back to this website again. You just lost a person. You just lost to this. You just lost to that. And then the next day they would post an even more nude photo of something else. So it was great.
They did the same thing when they posted Greg Glassman's father, who is, I don't know if he still is, but at one point was titled the Chief Science Officer of CrossFit Inc. Posted an article on the CrossFit Journal titled "The Sun is the Cause of Climate Change."
Oh, yes.
And people were like, what? Like, why are you talking about this? And I don't know what CrossFit's response was to that. I still am confused about why that happened.
There was also the Russells were the ones who were they were involved in constantly kind of, they would forward these various kind of libertarian articles constantly. And like I think one of them, I think it was either one of the Russells or it may have been Glassman, who said that he thinks that CrossFit was inherently libertarian in nature.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I think you can see some parallels in the thinking between those two things. So it's kind of disruptive. It's about, and blah 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 blah. So there's an element of kind of mischief making in both, and an adherence to rational thinking and all of that's kind of present in, I think, the attitudes. And I think that's why there seemed to be a lot of crossover between like libertarian politics and CrossFit, which is, I think, the basic. I don't really read the Russell's blog anymore, but
mainly it's anti-Coca-Cola right now.
Yeah, at this point it's just it's
all
fuck the
guns
NSCA
and
fuck Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But
Word.
Crony capitalism.
Did you watch? Did you watch any regionals?
I watched some. I watched I would
Yeah,
tune
yeah,
in
same
and
here,
out
same here.
as I happened to be on my computer
Okay.
while they were live. Yeah, yeah. But dude, fucking Brent Fikowski, I watched the shit out of his chipper performance.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Fikowski is a monster.
We know to expect that from him, especially in that domain. But just, again, it's just staggering to see all of these fit guys, I mean, who are regional qualifiers, not just regional qualifiers, the top regional qualifiers in a super regional, even though I'm not going to call it that anymore, struggling to get through this workout, and him just pulling away from everybody. And he did the same thing. He stopped as he was completing his last rep, and it's like he considered doing something, and he just kind of laughed, and then went and grabbed a little his Zevia, and then wandered over and got a towel. It was just
And always not even
crazy.
breathing hard or
Yeah,
anything like
not
that.
falling over.
Yeah, it
Just-
was very impressive.
Yeah, and how far did he finish ahead of Matt Fraser's
I think
time?
50 seconds ahead of
50
Matt
seconds
Fraser's
ahead
time.
of Matt Fraser's time. That's insane.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance. Brent Fikowski, little fun stat here. He's the only individual, male or female, to have completed every chipper from 2013 on in the regionals.
Yes. He's untouchable in that
He's
domain.
untouchable
basically.
on
Yeah.
chippers because it's like a combination of being able to have the engine and also fantastic having the engine.
that sounded great
What
in
you guys
passing.
didn't see is Daniel's
Microphone fall.
Daniel's microphone fall over as his awkward elbows hitting the microphone. No, there's
the
only
unknown and
so
unknowable.
erect you can get as we talk about Fikowski. And Kyle's dick knocked over Daniel's
exactly.
microphone. So no, it's a combination of that capacity plus his just cerebral ability to put strategies together.
What I also found was interesting is watching. He was doing something different on each, and I don't think that counts for everything, but I think it's representative of his attitude. Is that on every one of the movements, he was doing something different than his competitors. You saw, especially at the wall balls and the
Rope climb.
and the rope climb. You know, with the wall balls, he was doing that, and you said you thought it was kind of we were texting at the time, but you said it was kind of common. But I'd never really seen someone take those big arm swings. Like he would throw the ball up and then do this big butterfly arm swing and then swing his arms back up.
A lot of people do that, but maybe not as consistent for like every single
Yeah, but
rep
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying is like he was doing it consistently. But you looked, and those were all the top CrossFitters from the region, and no one else was doing wall ball shots the way he was doing them. And
Yeah.
same thing with rope climbs. Every other person was jumping up, doing all those quick little bicep pulls, and then getting their legs up there, and then touching the top of the rope climb. And he was jumping up. It just looked so butter smooth. Jump up, grab the rope, do that thigh pinch, then reach with one hand, and then pull up for the thing. And
that could be the next trend next year's training, by the way.
thigh pinch.
master.
Yes, thighs.
Well,
yes.
Thigh masters
Thigh
coming back.
masters. Yes.
Easy curl bars have finally come back into CrossFit.
Yes.
Now thigh masters.
Thigh masters, and we're gonna work. Eventually, we're gonna make it all the way back to functional. That band that goes around your waist and just shakes you so that you lose weight. That's what's coming.
4 times.
We're headed there.
You mentioned easy curl bar, and I don't know why Rogue hasn't created the Easy Muhammad Easy Curl Bar because that is that is a very
That's a good idea. Did you
low-hanging
see? Did
fruit.
you see his Murph that he was doing? It was. It was regular Murph with a vest on, but I'm trying to remember.
Oh, the movements were different. Well, he did like handstand push-ups.
He did handstand
and,
push-ups. He did handstand push-ups, muscle-ups, and jumping squats.
Yeah, that's right.
So, instead.
which numbers for the thing?
The numbers were. I don't know if they were full
It
numbers,
wasn't
but they
100,
were
200,
high.
300.
They were
I think
very
it was
high.
it was probably like 50, 100, 150, or 50,
It was
100,
like a
200.
silly
something.
number of.
Yeah.
Like it was for him. He was clearly stopping and resting the way other people would on Murph, but it was just still. It's a crazy amount of things.
Easy Muhammad's a beast, man.
He is.
It's what he does. He beasts things.
But he makes it look easy.
Yes.
He does. Yeah.
He qualified. I was happy to see that because I was there last year watching him miss by one rope climb. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there it is. It was 50, 100, 150.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 50 muscle ups, 100 handstand push-ups, and 100. Oh, and he still did 150 jumping air squats. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Especially with a vest on.
That sounds challenging.
Yeah, I would like to see him
wouldn't
and
wanna do that.
Donald Trump Jr. go head to head on that.
Oh, well, Trump Jr. He
Would
left
smoke him.
he left his vest at home and hasn't been training for a few weeks, but he's only gonna have to win by a few minutes, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, so there were other storylines though. As dominant as Fikowski was, even in the West, there were other storylines.
Are you sure? Was there?
Were there?
Were there?
I'm gonna confidently say there was more than one storyline this weekend.
I like my news in bite-sized form.
Okay, then we'll just rail right through it super quick, and we won't have any more fitness talk for the remainder of this episode. It'll be great. Ben Smith had a very uncharacteristic day and a half of competition.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of checked in to the regionals and just saw that Ben Smith, like after event like 1 or 2, and saw that Ben Smith was just in like 19th place or something.
Yeah, he got like an 18th and a 19th on the first 2 events.
He had a minor like geriatric like fit on Friday.
Interesting.
And he had to rebound on Saturday.
They found him wandering around naked through a Walmart?
Yes.
Does Ben Smith have dementia?
Heard it here for first, folks.
Click here to get the answer. I am delivering you guys trafficable ideas for FloElite. Does Ben Smith have dementia? Question mark. That'll get a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just saying.
It's just
it'll drive a lot of ad dollars to the site.
It's just a picture of Ben Smith and the word no.
Exactly. Doesn't matter.
I do find it interesting though that with the now that regionals have the 100 point, 95 point, etc. scoring system, that just like the games, that it really doesn't matter if you do bad on a couple of events so much, so long as you get some wins, so long as you get a couple
first places are valuable.
Well, that's actually one of the things that happened to Sean Sweeney that knocked him out of the games because the South Regional is bigger than the other regionals. So because of his performance on Event 2, he actually was able to get even less points than other regionals would allow. Right? So the minimum number of points you can get in an event isn't 0. It's like, I don't know, 40 or something, right? Because there's so many competitors and the range keeps going down. But because South Regional had more competitors, he was able to get a lower score than you would in other regionals, and because of that, he wasn't able to make up that ground with his other performances.
Interesting. Yeah, by the way, with the South Regional being bigger, 50 competitors each, why the hell don't they allow 6 people in? 6 teams, 6 people.
Good question. We're putting it to you.
You have too many good questions here. You know, I actually have a leaderboard. God, we made so many leaderboards. But I have a leaderboard here, which is all of the games qualified athletes across all the regions, ranked games style using the scoring, the points from the games across the regional events. No surprise, Matt Fraser, first place.
Yep.
Second place, Patrick Vellner.
Nice.
Third place, Brent Fikowski.
These are all very familiar.
Now this is the regionals plus open.
Nope,
or
this is just regionals.
Okay.
This is just regionals.
Interesting.
Yeah. You have like 19 different combined scoreboards.
I have 4 different
I haven't seen this
scoreboards.
Yeah.
This one's new. This one we just finished up this morning.
Okay.
Ben Smith, even with his just god awful performances on the first 2 events, 21st.
There you go.
Just barely in the bottom half.
barely.
Very, very impressive.
Yeah. What did happen on those first 2 events with Ben Smith? Because I have not seen them nor really.
I mean, nothing really happened to him in particular. I think it's just that those events in particular, are highly dependent upon those couple gymnastics movements. It's like if you're really, really good at ring dips, you'll do really, really well in that event. And if you have issues with any of the weighted handstand push-ups or anything, then you'll also do poorly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know what it was. Yeah. I didn't particularly think he was struggling other than just moving very, very slowly.
I thought he was going to come out and just completely blow like event 2 out of the water, and then those are the slowest snatches of all time.
He didn't do that. Yeah.
Interesting.
He did not do that.
He was always like nursing an injury for like 10 years. It felt like.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's has something nagging him.
That's what my guess was. My guess was that he was not healthy coming into regionals, but he also displayed some of the best like mental strength that we've seen in a long time, because he basically shat the bed on day 1 and was like, whatever. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. No big deal or anything.
We touched on Alex Smith, and then we got onto eugenics, and then we went way off. But let's return to Alex Smith for a minute. But it was good to see it's like I feel like things make sense again. Like it doesn't make sense that a guy who posts incredible gymnastics videos and also can squat clean 400 pounds and also has a bunch of sick workout times isn't making it to the games. And so he made it to the games, so I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Exactly. He finally took our advice, so now he finally made it to the game.
That's right. If you guys remember, maybe 40 episodes ago, we talked about Alex Smith cleaning 400.
It might have been the first episode. Was it the long-lost first episode?
I can't remember.
Maybe.
So now we have no proof.
We'll know. We'll never know.
Anyway, so he called in on the very first episode, and we told him straight to his face over the phone that he needs to start working.
Like, really, you guys? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, whatever you say.
I told him, I said, Alec.
That's what he sounds like.
Actually, I call him by his full name, Alexis.
Alexis.
And I said, Alexis.
Ben 2.
Ben 2. You need to start working on dumbbells because that shifty Castro is up to something.
I know.
And he said, oh, okay, cool, I'll do that.
Smell it on the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the women's side, combined leaderboard, Sarah Sigmundsdottir destroying everybody.
Siggs, yeah.
Raggy Siggs in first place. Kristen Holte, second place.
Interesting.
Defending CrossFit Games champion. Anybody? God, it's right there.
Shush.
Right. Defending CrossFit Games champion, 9th place. Katrin Davidsdottir, 9th place. And actually, none of her performances were particularly poor. She had a couple kind of lower performances on comparatively on event 5, which is the muscle ups workout.
Based on historical precedent, these results tell us that Katrin Davidsdottir will win the CrossFit Games this year.
Based on historical precedent, these events, the scoring basically tells us that Katrin is still not dominant at some specific events, and yet it will not stop her
from winning the games.
Somehow winning the CrossFit Games.
That's right.
Don't need to be able to climb a rope. Don't need to be able to do a lot of muscle ups.
Nope.
Definitely don't need to be able to do a pegboard.
No.
Let's win the CrossFit Games, guys.
Absolutely. Which, and that's the other thing that we talk about is like seeing like the idea that the weekend itself is an event, or is like an extra event. It's an extra modality in itself. It's an extra domain in itself.
It's like just an endurance.
Yes, it's like that's why Froning and other people would always come roaring back on the last day, and then you would see these monumental collapses. Sometimes, I mean, I remember like Noah's first game, he was like first place on day, and a lot of that's just how the events are structured and stuff, but still you would see him like missing overhead squats at 225 and stuff like that on the last day of his first games, and like clearly his body was kind of tapping out, just saying like that much volume across those days, just too much, and other people just can continue to recover and roll even into that last day and continue to perform at that high level. So it's just that's the one thing where we can say like, well, we really don't know, because the games really is, and they're very fond of saying this on CrossFit, it's its own beast or something. They use the word beast. I'm going to say it. It's a roast beast. The weekend is a roast beast.
Served au jus.
Jay over here on Facebook once you guys kind of discuss what you think implements. What type of implements they'll use during the games?
Something named after an animal.
Lack of like barbell being involved.
Interesting.
Something named after an animal. We know that's happening. Pigs, snails. What is it going to be? The duck.
The dragon.
What is the duck?
That's true.
The duck,
they have a lot of lakes in Madison. Is there going to be something?
There will be a rogue implement.
water
related. It's basic. It's going to be a giant orb filled with shot from a shotgun that when you put it in the water, it just sinks straight to the bottom. And they're going to waste a lot of money on that, and then they're going to scramble, and they're going to do a swimming event instead. The duck.
You know, I think we saw a really extreme shift away from the barbell during regionals, which only means that the games are going to take an even more extreme shift in the opposite direction.
2 barbells.
Extra big barbells.
Oh, there you go.
Barbells.
I like bars.
Right. What's the opposite of a dumbbell? It's not a barbell. It's a really, really big barbell.
What about a barbell that is proportionally, in terms of its dimensions, the same size as a regular barbell, but just scaled up by 4 times?
Right.
So it's like it's 28 feet long.
It's the
it's super wide.
It's the 6-person. It's the 6-person deadlift barbell from the games, the team event at the games last year. But only one person will be using it at a time. It'll be sick. I can't wait.
And you have to pole vault with it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would be interested in seeing that event.
What, the games
Pole
athletes
vaulting.
embarrass
Pole vaulting?
themselves being
Yes.
unable to vault a
Hey,
fucking...
Castro has not shown any hesitation to try to embarrass them doing silly implements that no one ever uses.
Yes.
So I think
For the
we'll see that.
broadcast.
For the broadcast.
Right, but one thing he's been very smart at doing is never putting them in a position where you can have an apples-to-apples comparison with a real sport.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Right?
that's true,
They'll never do like a
This
400
time they
meter-
will pole vault
Yeah,
over
yeah.
alligators.
Right, it's
Which is
always going to
different.
be some sort of complication, which
Yeah.
is fine. That's what you want. Like the last
400
time they did
400
that.
meter run, but like park benches just like laid out willy nilly all over
Right.
the track.
The last time they did that and they had a 1-to-1 comparison, it was the softball throw, and it was like 8th graders are throwing the ball farther than the games athletes were.
Jay adds in here. He says, if there was an implement called the honey badger, what would it be?
All right, so the honey badger goes without saying. It's going to have the general shape of a honeycomb. Okay, so it's kind of like flat top and bottom, but round, kind of like an egg in the middle. So imagine like a hard-boiled egg. You cut the top, cut the bottom off. All right, so it's laid on its side, very heavy though, only on one end. So if you try and roll it, it just goes in a circle. Okay,
One end, top and bottom, or
Yes.
one end?
No, one of the flat ends.
Okay, one of the flat ends is very tall.
heavy.
Okay.
Very heavy. So kind of like how eggs, because they're smaller on one side than the other, so that in a nest, this is an evolutionary development. So
Right.
in a nest, if they roll, they won't roll out of the nest. They'll just roll in a circle.
Sure.
Same thing here. It's enormous, by the way. It's way. Remember the pig? At least 10 times that size. So when you push it, even if you manage to get it rolling,
What
it
is
will
this,
just
a pig for giants?
exactly. So even if you manage to get it rolling, it's just going to go in a circle.
Right.
And it's just this big Sisyphean struggle.
That's actually...
Ooh, Conan's wheel.
Conan's
finally,
wheel.
I think we need that. I think that finally
It's
has
like
to
we
be in
finally
here.
have enough space. We're going to have 40 different Conan's wheels. And
No,
the final
no.
event of the games will be till death.
Yeah, exactly. It's not 40 different Conan's wheels. It's one Conan's wheel with
40 people are on
40
it.
people on it until everyone drops off and dies except one.
Perfect. So it's like hands on a hard body, but
Yeah.
it's a wheel.
I mean, it only took in Conan. It only took his entire
life.
developmental life, and he started off
but
as a
but he got some
skinny
serious
12-year-old.
gains from that
Oh
wheel.
my god,
yeah.
dude! Yeah,
It's
by the end of
serious
it, he
gains.
goes from like this like really skinny kid,
yeah.
same length hair, by the way, when he becomes
yeah.
an adult.
I do
No
like,
beard.
I do like the inclusion of the wheel.
No
'cause-
beard. No beard.
They shave him. As he's
Also,
pushing the wheel, they shave him.
Apparently, never stops to actually, I don't know, collect whatever it is they're milling in the middle there.
Yeah. Well, and I do like how the wheel is included in this because it's important to remember that it's just to think like they just looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger and said, we got to explain this. We got to explain. No, this can't go unaddressed. It's not like and he was a boy and then he grew into a man. And,
No.
and
Right,
he looked
'cause
like
that's
that.
not what men
That's
look
not what
like.
happened.
No.
It's a beautifully elegant explanation.
It
of
is,
that.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's also pushing it from the inside, which is leverage-wise the least
Yes.
It's a-
You would
the
really
least
wanna get-
mechanically efficient
Yeah,
spot to be in.
That's where those gains come from.
That's right. That's right.
It's like upping the resistance
yet-
on your.
and yet symmetrical. Not he doesn't have one odd side. He doesn't have a hunch or a twist in his body from only walking left.
Because it's like headphone wires. You know, once it gets twisted up, you got to go the other way. You got to untwist it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's what you do. So.
Man, this moment where he looks up,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like,
So
oh my god,
badass.
that Cro-Magnon brow and cross eyes. What is going on? All right, yeah. So Conan's wheel would be fantastic.
Yes.
I would say probably something more along the lines of dairy based. So they're gonna have like the Bessie, which is
for Madison, yeah. It's
right. It's Madison, right? They'll have the Bessie, the dairy cow, and it'll be the story of Milo.
tipping.
Cow
tipping.
Oh, that's
That is
way
the fucking
better
event.
than mine.
Yeah.
You have to run across a field and
my
tip
God.
over 5 cows.
It's a 400-meter run, but you have to tip the cows over on your way there.
But they're road cows. They're all just brushed steel.
They're living cows
yeah.
that they covered in powder. They powder coated black.
All right, here's what it is. It's going to be called the Big Cheese. It'll be a big wedge-shaped object that you have to push across a field, but the terrains will be completely uneven between all of the different
Yes.
lanes.
Oh, by the way, yeah, I know what it is. Dude, I worked in the cheese shop at Central Market. One of the hardest strength tasks I ever had to do was a wheel of Emmentaler, getting it from the ground up to the shelf, because it's a 200-pound wheel of cheese, and it is very oddly shaped. Well, no, it's a flat disc, but it's a flat disc that's basically almost an arm span. So it's way more awkward to lift than anything you can imagine.
That is actually not a bad idea.
Just having them pick up giant
it's
cheese.
It's almost impossible. If you have the wheel, if you have one part of the wheel pressed into your belly, you almost can't reach your arms around it in a way so as to get enough leverage to pick it up. It's just awkward as hell to load it just from the ground to a shelf at waist height. Almost impossible for me, and at the time, my body wasn't all broken and shit.
Yeah,
I was actually reasonably strong.
Cheese load.
It was the cheese that broke him.
Yeah, maybe.
I would think they would do something like the cattle rattle, which is kind of like a giant empty, hollow, kind of cast iron cow, which you have to fill with weights and then
with heretics.
Yes.
Then you push it over a fire.
Push it into a fire. Yeah, you fill it with weights and you roll it across the field as it rattles.
Yes.
By the way, more on the cheese thing.
There was
a Wisconsin cheese company made cheddar that cut into a whole bunch. 600-pound drum of cheese. So I don't know what you can do with that other than drag it in a sled, but wouldn't that be fun? As opposed to sandbags or stones or anything like that to weight something. 600-pound wheel of
cheese barbells.
You're hearing it here, Dave Castro, and we know you listen. Large cheese.
Instead of plates, Rogue is going to fashion cheese plates.
That would be amazing.
Man.
The problem is one of those wheels of cheese there, but by the poundage you can sell cheese for, is like many thousands of dollars. So it's the least economically efficient way if the
CrossFit
cheese
don't give a
gets
fuck
busted.
about that.
to say,
If the cheese gets busted, though, the cheese could still get ate by people at the end. Then you can make your money up.
But here's another thing. I didn't think about this. In the pavilions surrounding the CrossFit Games, man, there's going to be a lot of artisanal cheese producers there. So those people are going to the games. There's going to be a bunch of free samples, is what I'm saying, and they're going to be delicious.
It's going to be real nice.
Yeah.
Can the athletes eat the cheese during the event to make it way less?
Oh man,
that could be a good strategy.
That's a Fikowski strategy.
Cheese is a good recovery food, probably.
Yes. I want every games event to have a cheese punned name.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's what, like, Parcheesi.
I don't have the mental energy to jump into this improv game. Like, all right, here we go. And
tap out. Yes.
No
so
cheese puns.
Speaking of cheese, check this shit out.
checking it out.
Cheese
Segue.
works in ketogenic diets.
It sure
It
does.
sure as hell does.
25% of this table
Is now on a
is now on a ketogenic diet.
50% of the table.
Are you on keto as well?
Yeah, I've been doing it longer than Cliff has. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last week.
You both look the same.
No, it turns out 7 days is not enough time for me
here's
to
the-
lose all of my body.
You said it as if you'd been doing it since the
Like
beginning
for-
of the
yeah,
year.
like-
You
No,
said it for
I said I've
3
been.
days.
He's been at it. He just started like yesterday. I've been
Yeah.
doing
Yesterday
it
was
for
his
like
first
8
day.
days or something.
Exactly.
So.
No,
I've been peeing on strips, man. I've been doing the whole thing.
Oh, you got the strips.
I got the strips.
Wow.
I got the strips, and so like for the first 3 days, I'm peeing on these strips. For the people who don't know, there's ketogenic little test strips that allow you to test your blood ketones by pissing on something.
Yeah. Usually
Oh,
don't
pissing,
you
eh?
spit on it?
That's how I was screwing up.
Yeah, there you go. Whoa!
Man,
I've just been shoving it up
Cliff has
my
been-
pee hole.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Cliff has been like inserting these strips into his urethra. Man,
Ketosis is hard.
Ketone catheters, guys.
I've lost 4 strips up there.
Keto is fine. There's just a lot of bleeding involved.
Well, no, that's how it tests your blood ketone.
That's right.
Just he opens up his drawer in his bathroom, pulls out the box, and looks at it. He's like, "Huh, really? That's a.
Yeah.
I guess."
Where do you get strips like that?
Internet. Everything. I buy everything on the internet. But
So you know
there's a
it's
bunch-
safe.
Yeah, but it's the first few days. And you read various reviews about some are better than others, whatever. So I got some in the first like 3 days, like, this is bullshit. I have been doing ketosis for like 36 hours at this point, or ketogenic diet for like 36 hours, and yet my pee strips are not changing color. These clearly are broken. And then finally,
have you tried inserting them?
Yes, that's right. Oh yeah, I was definitely doing that. But then finally, like day 5, like they show it's like this. They have a color chart that goes from like whatever, like normal color, which is like a tan color, all the way to like red, and then to like this dark purplish color. So then finally, like day 5, you know, oh, there's color on the thing, and then like day 5, 6, 7, it went from like a little bit of color on the thing to like just it went from like deep red to like purple strip on these strips, which was very interesting because I did it a couple
also
times
the
a day.
same colors that Cliff's went through. Just it started at this regular tan,
yes,
and it ended deep purple.
Deep purple. But so it was interesting because I was reading that basically for different people it takes different amounts of time, and it will also be different once fully keto adapted. But for the initial keto adaptation, it takes people different amounts of time to like basically use up all the existing blood glucose and stuff in liver and muscle glycogen and other whatever the fuck things you are running on until your body says fuck this and changes gears and starts running off of ketones. And so for me, apparently that's like 5 or 6 days. And so I'm going to continue this for a little while and see what happens. But in just 1 week of being on keto, I am lighter than I have been in 2 years.
Holy crap!
Just like 10 pounds just like fell off. I know it's all water weight. It's been ringing me like a sponge.
Oh sure,
I
can even beat you. I can even beat you on weight. There, yeah. I dropped 5 pounds in 1 day, all by pissing.
Yes, just pissing it all out of myself.
Exactly. It was really weird. The first day, I was ravenously thirsty. But I wasn't pissing at all. Yeah. I was thinking, this is going to catch up to me at some point. And then sure enough, the next day, not thirsty, just pissing all day.
Yes.
It was insane. 5 pounds lighter, 1 day.
I am drinking water like a fucking maniac.
Why?
Like, I'm so fucking thirsty all the time. I mean, I am like a lot of, I mean, I know that a lot of how water is stored in the body is in muscle, like muscle glycogen holds a lot of water and stuff. Cliff could probably speak to this better than I am because I'm just making it up as I go along. But
Science.
But yeah, I know I've lost a lot of water weight. I'm just drinking like a fucking maniac, drinking water. But I did go to the gym to hit a workout the other day. I kept my reps a little bit lower on my lifting, and then I did my workout, and and this is so at this point I'm not really keto adapted. That's going to take probably another week even from now. I'm just seriously depleted on my body's principal source of fuel, and so I went in and did the workout and was just kind of almost dizzy with how kind of tired I was. Not like I'm gonna throw up, kind of that like redlining, but just kind of like after working out for a bit, I was just like I just wanted to sit down for a long period of time.
Like I need a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, but then I had this amazing revelation, which is about halfway through, which is rather than thinking about how this diet was affecting my performance, which isn't a thing because I am not an athlete.
Yeah.
I instead realized, you know what? Tired is enough. And so once I was tired and my workout didn't take very long for me to get tired, I realized I've done a good job in the gym. And then I sat down.
Kyle just came up with the shirt.
Tired is enough. Yes.
The scale is needed shirt. Tired is enough.
That's true. And it's perfect because it's kind of like, it's almost the subtitle for the podcast. Scale as needed. Tired is enough.
Totally. That's completely
it really is
fact.
the heart of our methodology right there.
That's fantastic.
Work out until you're tired. That's enough.
Tired is enough.
Yes.
That is true.
But yeah.
Cliff, how is your experience?
Short but miserable.
Wait, you're already off ketogenic diet? No. Oh, no. Short as in you haven't been on it for very long.
Haven't been on very long. Yeah. One, Kyle probably had an easier time adapting because he's been eating a low-carb, high-fat diet for a while, whereas I've been on the RP thing, which is just chugging dextrose all day.
That's right.
So it's like, that's going to take a while.
I live that life.
But no, I made the problem of I ordered Quest's powdered MCT oil, but it didn't arrive until yesterday afternoon.
Yeah,
you bet your ass it is.
There's a lot of different powdered ones.
But so all of yesterday I had no MCT oil, and all of yesterday I was feverish and pissing and just not, and my brain was foggy, and I went home early, and that was fine.
It was like a plague victim.
It was like a plague victim. I got
Bring out your dead.
Did you say you were fine or you were crying?
Huh?
Did you say that you were fine or that you were crying?
I don't think I ever said I was fine.
Or crying. Let's move on. But
Or
wait,
cry-
where
who-
were we?
what?
He was pissing.
Pissing.
Pissing is what he was.
Pissing. And then the MCT oil arrived, and it was amazing. As soon as I had the powdered MCT oil in a shake there with other things, everything was all right again. And I had some this morning with my coffee, and I had the most overly productive writing
pooping
session.
he's had.
No, here's the thing. I've not had any pooping issues yet. With the
Interesting.
powdered MCT oil, yeah, maybe if I had the liquid shit,
Yeah.
that's
You would-
maybe
you
if I
would
had
have the liquid
shit, I
shit.
would have liquid shit. But so far, just the powder. No, just only good, no bad.
I myself have gone on a supplement buying spree since I've over the past week. Of
course.
so many different
Sure.
things that I've
Adding
been
in
taking.
addition to the handful.
What,
So you
in
had
addition
the
to the
addition-
handful?
okay.
Oh, yes, all sorts of things. Powders and liquids and all sorts of shit's going into my body now. Well, because there was the concern about the about muscle loss, and so it's like, should I
Obviously a concern.
obviously a concern. So I wasn't sure, should I go with leucine or should I go with the
HMB.
the Blonix HMB? So I bought both, of course, as you do. So I ordered the HMB, but I was like, that's going to take 3 days to arrive. So I went to GNC and bought leucine in the meantime.
Right,
I've
you
been
have to really hold it at bay for
hold
those
it,
few
yes,
days.
because I wouldn't want it to affect my performance.
The one workout you have in those 3 days
Exactly.
could really just derail your muscle gain.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I
Probably.
did that, and then I think I also bought like an L-carnitine supplement, and I'm taking that because that apparently helps with ATP production from fat. So I'm taking that.
So basically, you're
and-
making it to the games next year.
Oh yeah,
just based
all
off
in
your
powdered
supplements.
form. But all the good powders, they're healthy because they're legal.
There was a Canadian power lifter who tested positive last week for 11 banned substances in the same test. And
How do you say power lifter? They test power lifters
in
for
some
things? Okay.
federations they do. Yes, there are actually some
They're
federations
the
that
boring
are,
federation.
There's some. That's not true. That is actually not true. Ray Williams is who competes in probably the most tested powerlifting
Really?
federation in the world.
Interesting.
Squats like 1052.
Yeah.
Raw.
Well, I know what Ray Williams can squat, but I just assumed that he was full of juice.
No. He is
He's
just
just full of beans.
he's
that
just
guy.
full of
beans.
Yeah,
That
vegan.
can't. That
Never would have thought.
can't
No,
be, though. I'm just saying that can't be right. He can't have the biggest squat of all time and be clean. That just doesn't make sense.
I don't know enough about anything to make a blanket statement about
I can't say anything, but I'll talk anyway. No, I don't got anything.
I would say one, it doesn't matter because we can't really ever know.
Oh no, it matters in this way. It's like if he squats this much clean, why isn't he juicing and squatting 1,500 pounds?
Exactly.
I want to see what this guy is like on juice.
Like now he's a Bugatti Veyron. Soon he'll be a Bugatti
Spaceship.
Chiron or whatever their
Whatever
new
the
one
new
is.
one
The
is,
new
yeah,
one
who
is
knows what the fucking new one is.
Chiron.
how's it
yes.
spelled?
CHIRON.
Which is the
1,500 horsepower.
That's the name of the ferryman,
Mm-hmm.
which takes you across the river of the damned
The river Styx.
into the afterlife.
Yes,
That's right.
His name is Chiron?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's
In
true.
what mythology is his name Chiron?
I think it's Chiron.
Chiron?
I think that's how it's pronounced as well.
I'm going to say it my way.
That's fine.
Chi-Town.
God damn it! No, you can't just drop a fucking brat and expect anybody to be okay with it. God damn it!
Yeah, you can.
No,
Anytime.
no more, never again. All right, so you guys aren't the only ones who are doing ketosis. Catherine has also started doing ketosis.
Oh, in
And-
preparation for her long distance thingies that she's doing.
Yeah.
This congenitally skinny young woman is deciding to go with a low carb diet.
Yeah.
Why? Just to fuck with me personally?
Well, I think the number one thing is you have to understand is that she hates you.
Yes.
Right.
This is true.
You did that.
For poisoning you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruining your erections forever.
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 Yes.
Yes.
I've literally had an inverted dick. it goes inside.
So all this pegging is paying
All
off.
this begging is paying. It's actually much easier for me to put the ketosis test strips inside of my dick.
Shit, to put it inside of your windsock.
I'm like a kite that's a dragon, right? So the wind goes inside of the kite. Anyway,
Have you ever seen someone with a colostomy bag? How they have a hole in their stomach? It's like the same thing.
It's
but
basically
it's
the
where
same
my
thing.
penis was.
Yes. So she hates you because you did that
Yes.
to my body.
Yes, exactly.
And it's changed the dynamic of our relationship
So how's your
forever.
ketogenic diet going?
So I mean, so far it's been good. She actually, oddly, I was the dick in this moment, whereas yesterday we had pasta for lunch, and I texted her a picture of like, I can't believe they gave us pasta. I'm gonna have to take a nap this afternoon, and she responded with a middle finger emoji. Fuck you was her response. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize. I forgot. This is new. This is new. So she is also doing the ketogenic diet.
Is the goal health or weight loss or just just experimenting or what's?
I think part of it is just kind of like getting in shape for more of this endurance stuff, and also for the wedding. I don't know, just the usual, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
So
it's interesting. There are
coming.
some super marathoners who are keto, and there's a name. I was watching one of those Volek lectures, and he was mentioning the fact that there's like some I've heard what they're called. Anyway, but they're basically ultra marathoners, the group of ultra marathoners who eat no carbs, basically. So must be nice to have that particular set of genes.
God, what are those? The ones that run barefoot as well in Born to Run?
Maybe that might be a different group of people.
That might be a different group of people.
Pose running, I think, is what you're referring to.
Yeah, sure.
I think you know, and we know so little about running. You're just saying all the things you know about running.
Every
single running thing you know.
Every little
Do you
thing.
know Mark from Canada?
Yeah. So running.
Yes.
Is the thing that some people do.
Yes. Ugh. I don't know why.
Me neither. Me neither. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on.
Let's move on.
We're gonna move on for this, and we're going to take. Let's see. Do I want to take a hard left turn or a hard right turn? Both of them are going to segue really well.
Before we take either turn, actually, I want to bring up something. I was did some research after last week.
Oh no.
And this is the callback to last week. And
Emmentaler wheel, how much does it weigh?
Oh yeah, that's still hanging out there. Yeah,
80
so last
kilo.
week we were talking about who would be able to hit 30 muscle ups first.
Oh yeah.
Oh, between the three of you.
Between the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me you did all 30 muscle ups between last week and this
all
week.
30 of them. Yeah. No, actually, what I did find was this counter set up, and it is on in 2, 1. All right, for time right now.
Oh, damn.
3, 2, 1, go, everybody.
30 muscle ups for
by the way,
time.
for those of us not watching the stream here, this goes for days.
Yes.
This has days on the counter.
Well, it's going
It's
to
gonna need years.
A lot of days.
Yeah, no.
days.
This
I hope
would
it
be a
has
really
months.
great thing. I thought about it. It'll be really fun. We'll check in every week, and the answer will still be 0.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yes.
And it'll just be a good thing to remind ourselves that we're all bad at things.
Need to go do some muscle up
Daniel,
accessory work as I begin to lose weight.
The people believe in you. All 10 people voted for you on our Twitter poll.
Wow. All
10
10 of our
people.
listeners.
All 10 of our
10.
listeners.
2 of them were me.
Yes.
2 of them were.
You
Very
heard it here,
solid.
folks. First, keto.
Keto.
There you go.
You heard it here first, folks. The heat is on the streets.
And this is embeddable, so we can embed this in the post for this episode. Even
Sick.
This will
And
remain at
it
the
will
top of
continue to roll.
FloElite.com
Yes, this will be
indefinitely.
the number one thing. And no one will know.
Let's just hope that days counter doesn't turn over at 99, because it better go up to 999 just in case.
You think within 3 years you'll do 30 muscle ups?
It's either then or never.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's gonna happen in the next 3 years, or it's never gonna.
It's like, you want good news or bad news? Oh, let's start with the good news. Well, you're going to lose 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's the bad news? It's 50 pounds of legs you're losing.
My legs weigh a lot more than 50 pounds.
Okay, so we're going to take a sharp right.
Yes.
Speaking of nutrition, did you see the new Apple Watch OS?
I did. I watched almost the whole keynote yesterday.
Oh, so you actually open Safari for the 2 times a year. This is one of the 2 times a year you open
I watched it on my
Safari.
Apple TV.
Ooh.
Yes.
Bold.
Yes.
Wow, really staying within that ecosystem.
Yeah, gotta stay on brand.
So now apparently the Apple Watch
yes.
works with HIIT workouts,
Yes.
high intensity interval training.
That's
Yes.
HIIT.
Yeah.
Now, this is what
Not to be confused with HIT.
It was
which
only
the Mike
tou-
Menser thing.
Huh?
That was a deep pull. Mike
I
Menser.
know.
You don't know Mike Menser? Oh, man. We should talk about Mike Menser for a minute.
Sure.
Go on.
He is the actually it relates to the bodybuilding program I'm doing now while I'm in ketosis. Actually,
Interesting.
Yes, which is not that different from the usual Arnold stuff, but I think there's some symmetry to the idea of redoing all of the old workout programs I've ever done sequentially. So it started out with Arnold being the first thing ever and volume training. Then I discovered Mike Menser, who's a successful bodybuilder. And then he influenced later Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia.
Yes.
But the whole thing was just do, as opposed to like 5 or 6 sets in an exercise, you just do one all-out set to failure or slightly beyond failure with, forced reps or things like that. And then you're done with that exercise.
And he had a big-ass mustache.
Oh, yes, he had a
Oh,
mustache,
sick.
too. If we look at Mike Menser, mustache, but then Dorian Yates also trained in a similar way.
Interesting.
So because I'm going to have no carbohydrates in me and I need to radically reduce the volume, 1 set per exercise. That's it.
To massive failure.
To massive failure. To failure or beyond failure.
Wow.
Yes, interesting. Oh, yeah, Daniel has a picture of him. Wait, Daniel.
Hang on.
Almost there. There, look at that.
There,
mustache.
fantastic
There we go.
stash and
Big stash.
great delts.
Yes.
Really
Super
solid.
jacked,
Really
that
solid
guy.
peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done.
Great delts.
So wow, that's a great stash. Okay. Before I get distracted.
Yes.
High intensity interval
intervals.
training.
The boring
watch
kind, yeah.
Yes.
stuff.
So, and they only touched on it briefly, but it was funny. As you know, they have things built into the Apple Watch, motion sensors, and various algorithms for running programs and swimming programs and other things. I don't know. I've never fucking used it. I don't own an Apple Watch. But they announced that they will now have new motion programs and algorithms for, quote, high-intensity interval training. So I'm curious, and there was which they then, the only thing they said in addition was, because it's becoming one of the most popular forms of workout out there, which is a bit of an understatement. But I'm curious, given their capability for motion control and other things, what will they offer in terms of workouts and workout tracking on, I guess they have heart rate monitors?
I guess.
Yeah,
But I mean,
who cares?
they do like the activity monitor, but your hand doesn't really move a ton.
Except for 1 time per day.
Yeah. What I just
When you're violently shoving ketosis strips.
There you go.
actually you joke, but I won't say who. I was seeing someone who had a Fitbit on, and and it was in the morning, and we hadn't made much progress, but from the bed to the couch, and she's like, "How do I already have 150 steps or 250 steps today?" And I was like, "Remember what we did before we got out of bed?"
Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Yes!
She was burning calories.
I fucking love that so much!
You fucked the calories right out of her.
That's right, guys. Tired is enough.
Tired is enough, everybody.
Oh.
It's about 1 million little choices you make over the course of the day.
Oh wow, that was fantastic. Okay, I think here's the real question: is this enough to get you to spend your hard-earned
That's what
money
I
on
need.
one?
I need someone to justify. That's what I'm looking for in this. I want someone to say, "Well, it's actually useful if you do CrossFit because," and then pretty much whatever they say after that is an excuse for me to buy an Apple Watch. So someone make something up and then comment. Seriously, I need it.
You do it.
It's either you buy the Apple Watch so that you can somehow keep track of your high intensity interval training, or you spend $125 on the new jump rope. from RX jump ropes.
Wait, the $125 jump rope?
You're going to be able to do triple unders.
It spins for years.
Tell me about this jump rope.
So.
Oh, is this? Oh,
so
this
you
is,
take
I saw you guys did a video about.
So like,
okay,
yeah, like they basically take a handle.
Wait,
put a rope to it,
and they attach a rope to it.
Wait, I'm confused.
And then
go back to the first thing.
There's a mechanism which articulates
a dealy bobber.
There you go.
And then you hold the two handles. There's another handle on the other end of the rope, right?
Wait a minute. Now I have to reconfigure it in my mind.
And then you jump as you whip the rope under your feet.
Yes.
And you, for the low price of $125,
very low,
can do that.
Yes.
With this machine.
I just wish the barrier for entry were slightly lower.
Yeah, but I believe they're calling it the Evo jump rope.
The
Evo jump rope.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. RX Evo.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
It's I don't know how to describe it. It's heavy. The handles are heavy, not like intentionally heavy. They're heavy because it's like made of metal.
Have you guys used just like a regular RX jump rope?
No,
like
I haven't used it. I use
go.
garbage jump ropes.
Yeah, there it is.
Cheap ones, yeah.
It's an over-engineered jump rope, in my opinion. It's
I don't know how it look like it.
I don't know how necessary a $125 jump rope.
Wait,
$125 jump rope.
This is made out of
on each of those ends. There are those fucking lightsabers.
They look like
do
it,
look
right?
lightsabers. Yes,
they do.
These are. It's made out of premium materials.
That's right.
Not unlike the CrossFit bike.
And as you can tell,
materials,
and they're all custom made, like the CrossFit bike is.
Custom made in mass quantities.
And also
bespoke to your body, so long as it is identical to thousands of other bodies.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Also, it's black.
Yes.
Not matte black.
Just black.
Just black.
I won't buy it then.
It feels very expensive while you hold it.
It definitely feels expensive.
Yes.
And look, ribbed for her pleasure.
Right up the pee hole.
It's gonna be really. Damn it, Kyle! God, come on, man. Yeah.
I can't wait till the custom versions come out here. Just get like just sweet ass lightsaber jump rope thing.
That's like some mall ninja shit.
Oh boy, is it!
That's fantastic. So yeah, I think if you were gonna be, it's one or the other, right? You either buy yourself a jump rope like that, or you buy yourself an Apple Watch.
This is true. I know it's tough. There's a lot of technology packed into that jump rope.
And Kyle, just hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
Or both.
Both. That's
there
true.
you go.
Why not?
Stun,
Why not build one?
Because then you can use the jump rope for your high intensity workout with the Apple
since your
Watch.
arm isn't moving very much, it won't even register any of the activity.
No, it won't.
You'll be like, wow, you're jerking off with a small dick. Great work.
Yes. Yes. You'd be surprised. I've jerked off my small dick before, and it's very sensitive, that watch. And the penis.
The Apple Watch is like, huh. I'm not gonna finish that thought. I'm just gonna stop right there. Anyway, let's take a hard U-turn out of here.
Yes.
And talk about something else on my heavyweights.
Oh yeah, you watched heavyweights.
I watched heavyweights last night.
So last week we discussed the criminally underrated, though return. I think people are coming back around to it. Film. I think it was written in part / produced by Judd Apatow. Paul Feig is in it. It's directed by Steve Brill from the mid-'90s. Heavyweights, a comedy about a fat camp, and I loved that movie when I was a kid. And it's where we first see the first appearance of Ben Stiller's character from Dodgeball, essentially.
Right.
Which is basically the exact same character.
Yes.
Same hair, same voice, same attitude, same everything.
What always struck me interesting as a kid about heavyweights is what would the audition process been like for the child actors?
Yes.
It's like, we only take you if you're a porker, which is great
Yes.
for the self-esteem of those young boys.
Those kids were only booking fat kid roles up to
That's
that.
true.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like every one of those kids was like, no, I farted, in every other movie. It's like every one of those kids tested to be the fat kid in Little Giants. So, they knew what the score is. They were professionals.
Yeah.
But that was anyway, so what did you think?
Not
of
only
Heavyweights?
is it the first time you get to meet the Ben Stiller's character from
Dodgeball,
but it's also you get to meet Tony Perkis Sr.,
Yes.
who is like who's basically his character from Starsky and Hutch in costume, saying, "Do it, do it."
I haven't seen.
You haven't seen
Hutch?
Starsky? Okay.
No, I have, but
yeah, that's fine. Well, basically, just imagine Tony Perkis Sr. I
he
really
only has a couple voices, Ben Stiller.
Right, he has like the 3 voices he does, and
Yeah.
he like kind of hashes them out between all of his all
Yeah.
of his characters. I love the movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was
really
hilarious.
funny.
I was
like,
laughing the entire time.
It's so funny. Like minutes before you texted me this scene where where Ben Stiller's jogging and he runs back to the log and he says, "Come here, devil log," and he holds the log above his head and starts running. You texted me that, and I had just watched it. It's so fucking funny. But it's weird because it rides this interesting line where you can tell that people who would later on go on to do good adult comedy were like trying to make a kids movie and like riding an interesting line because it crosses like what I loved about it when I was a kid is at the moment at which the kids drop Ben Stiller into like a pit, into like a bungee pit or whatever, and then and kidnap him. That whole Apocalypse Now thing that happens is just like it plays with darkness in a way, then which gets all the way to the point where at the very end when Ben Stiller has gone completely insane and is in the cabin and he starts breaking glasses on the ground and walking on the glass. Says, "You can't defeat me!" Smash, smash. Oh, I'm too strong. Smash, smash. Walking on the glass, just as he walks on the broken glass. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Yeah, and I love the gag where he runs out and he swings on that branch over the thing, and then when someone says something, you just hear 2 quick sound effects. And then all of a sudden he's
standing back.
He's standing 20 feet away back on
the one of the things that made me just unexpectedly burst out laughing was during the Apache relay at the very end when they go through the different steps of the relay, and one of them is who's Adam Sandler's friend who plays Kenneth who's like dressed as Albert Einstein, just like nonchalant, like leaning up against that, just seeing him dress like we don't see that. I feel like we haven't seen any movies where people are dressed like old historical figures being assholes
just
to
smoking
children.
And being assholes to children. Yes.
That's what the world needs.
One of my favorite lines is when Ben Stiller is getting they're trying to play the prank on him where they blindfold him and he's supposed to do sit-ups, that sort of thing. And he's just laying down. He goes, "There's so many myths about the abdominal muscles. Glad to lay this one to rest."
It's fantastic. Lars is hilarious.
The other thing is that I remember watching when I was a kid, and like Ben Stiller's character, who's this hyper fitness guy who's constantly running and like he's picking up logs and he's putting on packs and doing all this stuff. It's like was such hyperbole at that time, and yet now I feel like that's most fitness people you see. It's just like backpacking, odd objects, and all this. Like I was watching like half the stuff he was doing. He's like, "Picking up that log's a good idea. I should pick up a log." And then he goes like, "I'm gonna go on a 20-mile hike with this pack," and it's like, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I should go on a 20-mile hike with a pack. Like this is a lifestyle now. So
Cliff is now Perkisizing.
He's Perkisizing.
He's now following the Perkis method.
Yes,
that was the 3rd exercise method I followed chronologically after Arnold.
He's Perkisizing with Tony Perkis. There, you could. I immediately looked up, and you can totally get those shirts that say what is it, Perkis Power or Camp Perkis, and on the back say I'm Perkisizing. They sell them on the internet.
Of course they do.
Yes, they do.
Of course they do.
Anyway, Heavyweights.
It's worth watching.
Yes.
It's worth watching. And it's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. You have no excuse.
Yeah.
World.
It's basically free.
Yes.
Right? At this point,
free.
It's basically free. So I also this weekend saw Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I guess you were the only one.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I saw it.
Oh, Daniel saw it.
Daniel
also saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel saw it.
How was Wonder Woman?
It was fine.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've heard.
It was fine. It was definitely like the best DC movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Not
Fine.
a high
Which
bar.
means it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's really weird, and I guess you guys should probably see it. We can probably talk about it later. But yeah, it's like it works for the most part.
Yeah.
It really does.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of like putting a lot of like heaping praise on it. I'm not 100% sure whether it's like the male guilt or white guilt that's like kind of causing that.
Both.
both probably white male guilt together.
Where does white guilt factor in?
Because
Are they
there's
all Snow White there on that Amazon island?
no, there's
Okay.
There's
also
Brooke Ents is on the island.
that's right,
Yeah.
and also
Aryan as you
That's
can
right.
get there.
and also the sort of like crew that she assembles is, you know, Chris Pine is only part of it. There's also a guy who's like vaguely Mediterranean / Middle
This
Eastern,
argument is falling apart.
and there's a guy that's Native American. So it's really
Sure.
yeah, it really basically could be white male guilt, I think.
Sure.
But in general, it was good. I thought it was a pretty good origin story. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Some of the action scenes were pretty cool.
Cool.
Some of it was
Does
like
What's Her Head who plays Wonder Woman actually talk?
this actually was I thought she was fantastic. Way better than I expected her to be.
She was definitely better than I expected her to be. However, there are definite scenes where they are hiding her inability to act, and there are definite scenes where it like just comes out and like looks like just a fucking sore thumb just right there. Like
Interesting.
It's like you can't carry this scene.
Yeah.
But there are many moments where like she fucking kills it. She's good at certain things.
Yeah.
What we found out in this movie.
I don't have the same ability to dissect a performance, right? You guys went to film school. Daniel is related to you. I don't
Also
know if that
went to
probably
film
helped.
school, dude.
Daniel went to film
Really?
school. What?
No. I'm kidding.
Did you really?
No,
I didn't know that. So all three of you went to film school. So you guys have a much better understanding
We
and
are
ability.
all these people are involved in film production here. You see.
I'm aware of
is
that.
Our job.
I know.
It's the actual thing we get paid for here.
That I didn't know.
This is just for fun.
No, that's not. This is fun for you guys. Oh
I'm
my
having
god.
a blast right now.
So I actually thought she did a really good job, and she was like not only much better than I expected her to be, but I actually thought she was good at acting.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Like I can't really say anything having not seen the movie, and I'm going to see it this week. I am looking forward to it. I hope it's good. But what I will say is that there is that wonderful quality that sometimes people who maybe aren't the best actors in the world, but when placed within the right role, even their shortcomings work for the character. Recent examples being like Dave Bautista is
Drax.
as Drax. You know, I don't think Dave Bautista is necessarily the best actor in the world, or that's yet to be seen. However, it's like his woodenness and his ability to play with that works for that character. Other good examples being like, for instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, even like a film like Twins is a film where like him being kind of like wooden and German and not being able to quite speak, like it fits the naivete
That's
of
the
that
point,
character.
right.
Yeah, the naivete of that character. It works so well. It's like this perfect synchronization of character. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would argue, is very good in many movies, but in those early films, like that one is one where, like in Running Man, like his performances are terrible. But you know, they stand out as bad, and I think he just didn't have a good director or whatever. But in Twins, it's like this guy, he comes off as brilliant because it's this perfect synchronicity of performer and role in that. God, I love Twins. I'm gonna go watch Twins right now. It's such a good movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. On the opposite side of the spectrum is Junior.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Not as good.
Been a while. I would have to rewatch soon.
I just don't think anyone wanted to see, including myself, Arnold Schwarzenegger pregnant. It's just an unappealing idea. It's just, nah.
I want to see him cutting off heads.
Exactly.
With a sword.
Yeah.
It's Conan.
I want to see him say puns right before he viciously murders people.
Yes. I want to see him descend on someone from a rope that he's holding onto only with his feet and then just break someone's neck, flicking his wrist.
That is the interesting thing of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Junior real quick. He was a scientist.
Right,
And his love interest was Emma Thompson.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Emma
Yeah.
Thompson. Yeah.
Look at his cool science glasses.
Yeah, that's how you can tell.
Yeah.
Science glasses.
You know,
His dissertation was on jactitude.
You know where else he played a scientist? Batman and Robin.
That's very true. It's very true. A much more believable
Chill
scientist. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. So Wonder Woman is the best DC movie probably since Dark Knight. And it is... the third act is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
But all these superhero
A lot of
movies kind of fall
superhero
into
movies have
that.
terrible things.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
do the origin story for like most of the movie, and then it's like we need an ending to this one. And so
Let's
like-
have him do a camp obstacle course against other campers
Yes,
there.
that actually was the most disappointing part. Was that they
heavyweights?
had-
Yeah, I was saying
they-
heavyweights I've watched Heavyweights a bunch of times, and still to this day, whenever I revisit the film, I forget about the entire Apache Relay section, which is such an unnecessary coda to everything that comes before it, because all the like they defeat Ben Stiller's character, he gets shipped away. You have the thing. They all say, "Well, who's going to take over the camp?" And of course, like the fat guy counselor, whatever his fucking name is, they say it should be him. And they're like, "Yay!" And everyone cheers. And like the camera cranes up, and we're like, "Yay!" And I'm like standing up to go throw away my La Croix can, and then they're like, "Okay, now to go take on the athletes camp in the Apache Relay." We're like, and I'm like, "What?" I would say, I mean, it's definitely something that was clearly, I think, tacked on in the script stage, and because there's these like really sore thumb kind of stick out little setups for it, like when they suddenly cut to what's his name, who's like was the goalie in Mighty Ducks, and he's like shaving, and they're like,
right,
how long have you been shaving? He's like, couple months, and they move on to an unrelated scene, and then later on in the Apache Relay, he's like shaving a balloon or whatever. So it's like clearly tacked on, but it was clearly tacked on at a sufficiently early stage as part of the production, because it was like clearly one of the biggest budgetary expenditures of the entire film.
Yeah,
it's
they
like
sent a fucking buggy flying through the air over another one.
It's like someone read the script and said, this is good, but it needs more of an ending. Well, how do camp movies end? Well, they have to blah, blah, blah. And then that whole through line was sort of shoved in. And
they're like, man, this is a really solid 70 minutes. Wouldn't it be great if it was 85? Yeah, it would, actually.
And so what you get is you get basically the ending to the movie you've watched up to that point, which still works, and like you could just turn it off at that point, and then it's not even that bad, because it's not like and then it goes on for another half hour. The entirety of the payoff to this Apache Relay through line gets condensed down to like a 9-minute sequence. Like it's like go 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 go, and then but like really when Ben Stiller's character leaves the picture, the movie's over.
Right.
Like Quentin Tarantino once said about the screenplay for Speed, which is one of his favorite movies. He said Speed's a great movie, but once they get off the bus, the movie's over at that point. It's like, who cares what happens when they get off the bus?
Although it was pretty cool when Dennis Hopper's head gets knocked off by that light
sure
thing.
Is. Yeah.
This is true.
Well, I'm taller, which never made sense to me. Why does he say I'm taller? Wouldn't being taller somehow disadvantage him? I mean, I think it's kind of a non-issue considering they're laying down. But why would taller?
Keanu Reeves' impression is so good.
Well, I don't. It always makes sense to me. I mean, his head is knocked off, so he's shorter now.
Oh, okay. I get
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's a perfect makes sense.
Makes sense. I get it.
The fuck? That's his Arnold moment.
It's sort of after the fact. He's taller. I get it now.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. He's now Dennis Hopper is now even shorter than he normally is, which is pretty short because he's missing a head.
Now I get it. Yeah. And now that
it's taken you all these fucking years.
I've been watching this movie since I was in the 4th grade.
God, I watched Speed like every week.
I seriously watched it about that much. It's so fucking good.
I never stopped watching it, and yet I never stopped to question why, as like a 10-year-old, I was watching this movie about a fucking terrorist taking over a bus.
Oh, come on. That's a very child-friendly movie.
It's PG-13, right?
Yeah. No,
it's fucking rated R.
Fuck. Yeah, man, I don't know why. I
this is one of those ones where I think my parents had, or my mom specifically, had like a disconnect where like Terminator, not okay to watch. Terminator 2, totally cool and must be rated PG-13.
There's a lot more sexuality.
Speed, totally cool, must be rated PG-13. You know.
Huh.
Well, Terminator has boobs.
It's like Predator has all the violence of Predator 2 has all the violence of Predator, except also sex and also drugs.
Speaking of Predator, while I was in the theater for Wonder Woman, I saw a trailer for 2 things. Trailer 1 was for like girls' night. We're gonna watch whatever girly movie that they were gonna show. Yeah. Trailer 2 was for fucking Predator. They're gonna do a dude's night for Predator.
Nice.
And we have to go.
We should go.
We should go. Because 1, I would watch Predator anyway,
as I would,
because it's awesome. Yeah. And 2, when you include whatever props that they're going to be creating,
it's true. We are going to bathe ourselves in mud.
Yes. I can't wait.
No, it sounds good.
Secondarily,
we did miss maybe Daniel. Were you at WrestleMania?
I was at WrestleMania.
So Sunday was WrestleMania. WrestleMania was 5
movies, all at the Alamo Drafthouse Ritz.
starring Kurt
all
Russell.
starring Kurt Russell. Started out with Big Trouble in Little China.
Of course it does.
But you don't know.
It's a mystery.
Let me talk about the format here,
Yeah,
because
here we
this
go.
is the same format as their Caged series that they've been doing for the last 4 years.
And the Van Damage Marathon.
And
Van Damage.
so you basically
And
show up.
Cruise
You
Control.
show up knowing you're going in for a 5-movie marathon, but you don't know what the 5 movies are going to be. And once they've played 1 year, they cannot play again. So once they've been used, they're burnt. So they did this for 3 years, and then in the 4th year, this past year, this is earlier this year, Nicolas Cage showed up to Caged at the Ritz, and he actually was like there apparently the whole time, just like introing movies and hanging out with people. It was awesome. But, you know, they had kind of whittled down the Cage filmography, so it was some odder choices. So this is only WrestleMania 2, and the movie selection sounded awesome. I was very jealous.
So the way it played out was, you get there around 11:30 a.m. or so, sit down, and then what's the first movie? It's Big Trouble in Little China.
That's a
And
fucking
you're like-
great way to start
and you're
a
like,
day.
yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's
Start
like, and you're like, yeah, you're starting strong. You're hyped up. You're ready to go. What's the next one? It's fucking Overboard.
Overboard, which for me is one of the peak, the top Kurt Russell movies.
Oh God, yes.
I love Overboard.
I personally prefer Executive. Was it Executive Order where he's in it
Executive
for
Order,
like
yeah.
4 minutes as
No,
the president of the United States?
Wait, no, Executive Decision was the one where Steven Seagal dies really
Oh,
quickly.
so, okay. Kurt
But
Russell.
Kurt Russell,
he
soldiers
makes it through.
on.
That's right. That's right.
Like Steven Seagal's like, I'm also in this movie. Then he gets like sucked out of a
Sucked
fucking
out of
plane.
in the beginning. That's right.
Like how
I always.
that was weird enough for all of our brains came online, even as children says memory formation. Like I don't remember anything else about that movie except
we need
Steven
to
Seagal being
know.
sucked out of that plane.
Don't forget this
Like,
moment.
Steven Seagal just died.
Wait, he's supposed to stick around.
Yeah.
So following that, we got a Backdraft.
Dude, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I had not seen in many, many,
I
many
still haven't
years.
in years.
Yeah.
That fire is real.
I
All
feel
the
like
fire
CGI
is fucking
fire.
real.
I feel like Backdraft was one of those movies where I saw like 15 minutes of it on TV once and then kept going to Universal Studios because back in Universal Studios they used to have a whole Backdraft attraction where they would have an entire studio set up for just the Backdraft attraction, and we would go all the time, even though I never actually saw the full movie. I hear it's sad. Is there
you
sadness
still
involved?
haven't seen it?
No.
Oh no, it's great. Yeah. At
Wow.
least I remember enjoying it as a kid. People die by fire.
Well,
Yeah, no, there's a
seen
lot
worse.
of fire that goes on.
all right.
in
So
that
those are
movie.
your three. What
And
was
sorry.
the other two?
Hang on. We're gonna pull up. I just want Backdraft playing in the
There you
background right now. So then, following that, fucking Tango and Cash, guys.
Yeah.
Which was killer. That
Wow.
was a great time. And this was kind of a head shaker for me, or a head scratcher for me, because as Kyle mentioned, once a movie is played, it's burnt. It's gone. Like it's out of the lineup. So they end it with The Thing, which
That's two.
I mean,
it's two of the big ones.
it's two of the huge ones, and also it's like one of those things where it's like whispering throughout the theater. Every film nerd's like, "What cool print did they get today? What cool thing did they get? Oh, they got the thing that they show often here at the Ritz,
Yeah.
like, which is fine. It was great.
By the way, this scene is shot in that studio where they did the this entire building. Like they left this building as
they
is.
left everything up?
I think they left that
It's a
building as
goddamn
is.
good set.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Anyway.
it's
That
insane.
must have been so hot in there.
It was hot as balls.
But then the capper though is as you're leaving. As
Look
you're,
at that!
Yeah,
Holy
shot.
shit!
That's
all of
real
that shit.
fire.
All of it's real. There was no CG then.
There might be some compositing.
Yeah, there's
going on.
compositing and
compositing,
visual
yeah,
effects
yes.
there. Yeah, sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good
just
times.
fucking fire everywhere. But then as you wrap up, you pay your bill, you walk out the door, and then you're given a gift. A really nice gift.
Yeah.
A fucking Kurt Russell flask.
That's
Nice.
fantastic.
That is
which
pretty
is now
badass.
sitting on my bar and looks amazing.
The real question is, next year, year 3, will they have Kurt Russell at WrestleMania?
Dude.
So, here's the other thing, actually, that was really, really cool. So they did contact Kurt Russell.
Yes.
And he did contact them back. And I assume because of Guardians, he was like, yeah, no, I would love to be there, but, I can't right now. Goldie and I have just both been on, like, a bunch of, promotional tour things, and we're really tuckered out, and we're going to go on a trip together at that time.
Yeah.
And which is the fucking cutest thing. It's like, we're just going on a trip,
Yeah.
Old people things.
Which, it's funny to think that there was a couple weeks ago, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was #1 on the box office, and Snatched, starring Goldie Hawn, was #2 at the box office. So
Wow.
they had the #1 and 2 movie in America.
Good for them.
Good for them.
They're so cute together.
Hey, Armin, Katie says that you're going to Dirty Dancing night.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the girly movie was Dirty Dancing, which I haven't seen.
Yes.
Yo, it's a sick movie.
What? It's a good movie.
I'm sure. I love Swayze.
Yeah,
I love me some Swayze.
Yeah.
Your whole life.
They've had Swayze-a-thons before. Not like that, but like with like clip shows with which were pretty fun. But the hardest I've ever laughed, maybe in my entire life, was back. They now do Master Pancake Theater, which is like basically Mystery Science Theater. But before that, years ago, it started out as an incarnation called the Mr. Sinus Theater. Mr. Sinus, Mystery Science, you get it. Which they then changed after a cease and desist letter to the Sinus Show. So it was a Sinus show. So this is back at the original Alamo Draft House on 4th in Colorado that has since closed down. But it was the Sinus show, and the guys were great. Like the comedian guys, and they would just put together this amazing comedy show, just basically, lampooning the movie, and it was Dirty Dancing. And some of the shit, I don't know. To this day, I just remember having like conniption fits of laughter. Like there's like little things you would never notice, but they had watched probably very baked the movie enough times. Like Patrick Swayze's going up for the big dance number, like rips off his jacket, and then in the cuts to the wide shot, but then you see him like take off his jacket again. And so in anticipation of that moment, he goes, "I'm going to take off my jacket 1 time, 2 times." And it's just something about that like to this day, when I think about it relative to that, I just fucking start chuckling every time. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is
So they've done this with Nick Cage, Kurt Russell, Tom Cruise, right?
No,
Cruise?
Van Damme.
they've
Van
done
Damme.
Yeah, he
They've
went to
done
Van Damme.
they've done Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Denzel Washington as well.
Yeah.
They
So
did-
some of them are one-offs. Like the Kurt Russell one was
There's-
like a one-off until this year.
But he has so many movies.
Well, that was the weird thing. And I think I honestly think it's because they got so much buzz for the Nick Cage one, where Nick Cage actually showed up, that they're like, let's keep doing these. And so I think they're trying to build up a slate of just various actor-specific ones that'll be yearly from now on.
And like Nick Cage, and I wasn't there, but I had several friends who were there. Like they told him like you can do whatever you want in terms of like how to intro the movie. I'm not sure if this is the beginning. I think it was at the beginning. I don't really remember. So he comes out and decides that what he wants to do for the audience, like when he walks out and everyone's freaking out, is to do a dramatic recitation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, which I believe it was The Raven, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it was
Which
The
is
Raven.
very long. And like
Very
apparently
long.
like he went and like apparently read all of The Raven. Like he had a piece of paper in hand and read all of The Raven out loud. So that's what he wanted to do because he's
true
Nick
artist.
Cage.
Edgar-
He's a lunatic.
Oh yeah, so sorry. Nick Cage and me have that in common. I also read The Raven in junior high, so for poetry reading.
Really? Did you?
betcha.
The whole goddamn thing?
I'm pretty sure. I definitely memorized at least the first portions. I can't remember if I had the whole thing memorized. I certainly went through the whole
Telltale
thing.
Heart.
Cliff is
Telltale
Telltale
Heart.
Heart. Never mind.
That's
That's
what
right.
it was.
Telltale Heart.
Telltale Heart.
Look what
That's
he's
not a good one.
wearing.
I know. It's a long ass duster.
Why is he wearing that?
Because he's Nick Cage.
Why does he have those glasses on? I don't understand
Well,
any
you know,
of it.
You know who's shooting him
Answer
right
to
now?
all above questions because
Russ,
he's Nick
who
Cage.
used to work here.
Oh,
Russ,
no
this
shit.
This is the gig. That
This
he
is
left
what Russ does now?
for. Yes, this is what
Oh,
Russ
yeah.
does.
He's
Way
in
to
a
move
much
up
better
in the
place.
world,
Yes.
too. That
Way
was
better, Russ.
fantastic.
Big step up for Russ.
Wow.
everybody.
Great, good job. Let's
job,
just
Russ.
do a little round of applause for
Good job
Russ.
for Russ.
Thank you very much, Russ. All right, so let's get into the reviews because
Let's do it.
we're getting
Oh,
near
we're
the
over,
end of our
yeah.
time here.
Reviews.
Reviews.
So we got some American reviews this week.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Scale as Nation.
Let's see. Where's our next?
Then we'll
Okay,
go to the
starting here.
Scale as Internation.
Nice. Starting with Soulful One, where the O's are zeros.
Nice.
Scale to perfection, 5 stars. Also known as my daily WOD strategy. Awesome podcast, AMRAP laughs. Can't wait for more foreign reviews and Rick and Morty talk. Also, have you guys seen the first episode of the 3rd season? Glad to have stumbled on this podcast, Goldmine.
Yes, we have.
We've now all seen that episode.
I found it on YouTube. I texted to them in case they hadn't seen it. And
By the way, in perfect synchronicity with this podcast's themes, I rewatched it while rowing a 5K the other day.
fantastic. Tired is enough.
Yes, and it was so funny. It was so funny. It distracted me from that 5K. So there you
go. Let's see. And then the next one is from Kron23. Says, damn it, 5 stars. Damn it, I should have listened to this podcast way sooner. Been hearing it on the Wadcast for so long and ignoring it. And you know what? I played myself. Sad face emoji. I figured, let's see how Armin really is on his show. And look, a wild, energetic, funny Armin appears. That's a Pokemon reference. Honestly, I'm having a blast listening to all episodes and getting caught up. One suggestion, can we put Armin back in the hole more often?
That's true. We forgot the hole.
Daniel doesn't have control.
I don't have.
He doesn't have hole control. He needs hole control.
So there's 2 problems with it. 1, I need hole control. 2, we need to actually be able to hear the hole. That's the problem.
Yeah,
there's no playback in this room anymore.
Keep up the solid D+ work, fellows, and Soundboy. P.S. If the nation gets to 300 5-star reviews, can you 3 jump trap bar deadlift guy? Anyway, torque up from Cameron in Leno Lakes, Minnesota.
Nice.
And then we also got someone who mentioned us on Instagram.
He sent us some internet. Thank you, whoever it was that sent us via Instagram some international codes. I took a screen grab of those international codes. I don't know if we have time this week, but DK is Denmark. All stands for Dick.
Interesting.
Sweden is SE. So, do we have any Denmark reviews?
We do have a Denmark review.
We have a Denmark
Holy
review.
hell.
Scale as Internation coming into the
Internation.
Oh, God.
Wait. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Sarcasm. Thanks, Armin. Sarcasm.
By Thomas Hoffman.
Thomas Hoffman.
This podcast is my favorite. I used to listen religiously to Wadcast, but this has taken over. Armin has made me think of CrossFit in a different way, and my candid comments on, among other things, quote, Dumbbellgate, has caused Dave Miscavige Castro on Instagram. That's fantastic. I am apparently no longer a welcome member in the Church of CrossFitology. Oh, he probably got blocked. Thanks for nothing, Armin, Cliff, and Kyle. Thumbs up emoji. Love the show.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Thomas Hoffman. He may have been the guy who sent me those things, actually. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Let's see. If it's in Swedish.
Yeah.
Wow, we have 3.
3 Swedish reviews.
The first
Scale as
one.
Internation.
The first one says 5 stars, not a jiu-jitsu podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Let's see. Oscar Kratz says, indefinable, came for the fitness chatter, stayed for everything except that. And Obadisis says, Forging Elite Podcast. This is a podcast I look forward to the most every week. Armin and the Bogart brothers are great at mixing interesting and entertaining takes on what goes on in the world of fitness, stories from their own daily lives and their past, and some pop culture reviews. This podcast has me literally laughing out loud several times every episode. I love it. Keep it up, guys.
Word. So,
yes.
So before we move on to more, I assume that we're wrapping up our international
We are wrapping it
reviews,
all up.
Yep.
I would like to state that I've done the math here. And we are at, including our international reviews, the unattributed ones, 137 5-star
shit,
reviews.
Everybody.
So,
you know what this means, everybody.
Let's hope that
we
nose torque is
We
ordered.
are 13 reviews away from the nose torque mile. So scale as Internation, scale as Nation. Activate.
we are very, very close. The instant we hit that, the sequence triggers. And,
Yes, the sequence triggers.
It's unstoppable.
The flywheels start turning.
It's like Saw,
Yes.
except less bloody.
Throw me the idol.
well,
I'll throw you the
more
It might
bloody.
be equivalent bloody.
Equivalently
equivalent
bloody.
bloody.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for your reviews. I strongly discourage you from leaving any more reviews. Please don't ever leave any more reviews. And you guys are 39 minutes, 40 minutes into
we're
your
40 minutes
almost
into the
40
lot.
minutes into
let's
our
do a
muscle
quick
ups for time.
check-in now that we're at the end of this episode. Cliff, how many muscle-ups have you done so far in your 30?
No.
Okay, we're at 0. Okay, you guys can take an early lead.
Nice.
Kyle?
0 thus far, but I'm working.
During this podcast, I have done 0 muscle ups.
It's still a neck and neck race.
It sure is.
There's a lot of work
it's
yet
any
to be
man's
done.
game at this point.
That's right. All right, let's see. Kyle, your social media.
I am at Mr. Kyle Bogart on the best goddamn Instagram account on the internet.
I'm at Cliff Bogart on the worst goddamn Instagram account on the internet.
You guys need to add that into your Instagram bios.
It should be there. It's true. And I am at a Supersonic Man on Instagram, Twitter, etc. And I'm the host of Hot Tag over on Flow Slam, starting in like 15 minutes.
Shameless
And
plug.
Chase,
I'm at Chase 504 on all of the things.
how do you forget that on a regular basis?
I gotta make it more memorable, like Chase Hoist.
Yes.
Your way of making it more memorable is like it's
Just copy yours.
Just copy
Or
that shit.
Chase is moist. How about that?
Chase
no one's,
moist.
Chase is
no one's
moist.
going to forget that.
That's
I think that one's
about
already
that.
taken.
There you go.
you should just go with handsome guy Chase.
Handsome guy Chase.
Handsome guy Chase. That's
Or
the
just
thing.
handsome Chase.
Handsome Chase.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's going to make great awkward conversations. Let's do it.
That's
Yes,
fantastic.
perfect.
It's a great way of meeting women as well.
Yes.
At a bar, you should be like, follow me on
Well,
Twitter.
people see the handle, then they'll click on it, and then they'll say, "Yeah, okay, I'm on board."
Checks out.
Checks out.
And you can find me at Armin Hoists on everything. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this episode, and we will catch you next week. Later.
Later.
Later.